If you're struggling to manage and update your 3D printer firmware, then this video is for you. Firmware is an essential link in the chain that allows our 3D printers to do what they do. Fortunately for us, Marlin, the most popular 3D printing firmware, is continuously updated with improvements and new features. The trouble is, if you want to add those to your printer and you've previously set up custom firmware to suit your machine, it can be a little bit difficult to bring all of the changes over efficiently. In this video, we're aiming to address this, and we're going to showcase two methods. The first is a little bit easier to get into, and it assists you in doing things manually in a more efficient way. We're also going to have a tutorial on how to use Github Desktop, and trust me, it's not quite as approachable, but it is a lot more powerful. Now, this video is only made possible by the help of my patrons, who I will credit as we go. Let's get started on the first method. Most people get their Marlin firmware from github.com. There are various branches of Marlin, and they're basically variations. For instance, 2.0 is for mainstream releases, and 2.0 bug fix is much more regularly updated, and that's what I'll be featuring in this video. Up until this point, I had been downloading a zip file, unpacking it, and then making configuration changes before I compile it and flush it to the printer. In many of my videos, I've guided you through the specific changes needed for various mods. In this footage here, an E3D Chimera. But over time, Marlin is updated, and that means the firmware on my printer is no longer the latest. So we have to download and unpack the zip again and reconfigure, copying over our changes to the latest firmware. This is repetitive, and if we're doing it for multiple printers, not fun. Now, the worst possible way to do this would be open up the old and new firmware and blindly go through trying to notice changes and then copying and pasting things over. If you've been doing this, then this first method is going to change things for you dramatically. The first method is the one that I've been using for quite a while now and involves using the free software Notepad++. There's download links to this in the description. After installing Notepad++, we have a small amount of preparation to do, and that is installing a plugin. And if we come to plugins and then plugins admin, we need to search for the plugin called Compare. Mine's actually already installed, but for you, you should see it listed here, and then you tick it and click install. It'll download, the program will restart, and you'll have it available. So what I'm going to do now is open the two configuration.h files in Notepad++. You can see I have them here side by side, and what I'm going to do is come up to plugins and say compare, set as first to compare, switch to the other tab, plugins, compare, compare. Okay, and this is where it becomes efficient, because instead of having to read and compare every single line of code, we can scroll down and everything is color coded where there's differences. For instance, on the left, we can see it's Marlin version 119 and Marlin 2 on the right. So we still have to manually copy and paste our changes, but this highlighting makes it pretty clear what we can ignore and what we need to copy over. The color coding works as follows. Anything in green is an addition that's not in the other file. Anything that's yellow is something that's slightly different, and they highlight in orange the specific change. So it looks like all of this has changed, but all that's happened is a change from lowercase s to a capital S, so we can keep scrolling. So we have our first actual change, and I had upped the default feed rate to make it home a little bit faster, so now I'll come over and make that edit. The other color that you'll see is red, and that means that something has been removed, either omitted from the firmware completely, or in this case, moved to a different file. You'll also notice that on the right hand side, the navbar has this same color coding, and that'll make it a lot easier to scroll through and find the parts you need to change. In this case, we're going from quite different versions of Marlin, so there's quite a lot of little changes, but generally, this is going to be a lot simpler. Typically, doing configuration.h and configuration_adv.h are going to be enough to get everything working. Using compare in Notepad++ works quite well, but one of my patrons, Patrick, brought it to my attention that this is actually inbuilt into VScode as well. In fact, he made a video to share with our community. I'll link it in the description, and what you're about to see is a brief overview. Now, this won't work if you say open folder, so instead you need to be on the Platform.io home screen and then click on open project. We go to the folder with all of our firmware and click open Marlin. After it opens, we'll come back to the Home tab and repeat for the second folder. Now we can see the two are stacked on top of each other. We have one folder called Marlin and the other called Marlin 2.0x. We find the first file, right click and select for compare. Come to the equivalent file, right click, compare with selected. And now we have an interface very much the same as with Notepad++ with the same type of color coding. Hopefully this is a lot more efficient than what you've been doing in the past. If you were manually examining the various files and looking for differences, hopefully this will help you do things a little bit more efficiently. So how about now we step things up and we get into the tutorial for GitHub Desktop. The learning curve is a little steeper and I'm going to use diagrams to explain things as best as I can, and I have to credit my patron Tomaski, who held my hand step by step and answered all of my questions in preparing this. Remember when we talked about downloading the newest version of Marlin and then manually making changes, and how repetitive that is for multiple printers? Well, these are all the copies of Marlin I've set up over the years, and only for the Ender 3. Well, by utilizing GitHub Desktop, we're going to have a single folder with Marlin in it, and we can set up as many branches as we want. All of the files will automatically be taken care of, and that includes easy updates from the vanilla version of Marlin, as well as a history of all of the changes you've made, as well as vanilla Marlin as well. To get started, we need to do two things, and the first is downloading and installing GitHub Desktop, and the link is in the video description. The other thing we need to do is to make a free account on GitHub. The downside of a free account is that you can only have publicly accessible repositories. That's going to be fine for most people, but if you're working on something super top secret, then it's going to cost you $4 a month to go pro. GitHub uses a lot of specific terminology. One thing I found handy when preparing this video was this glossary page. Anytime you come across a term that you're not familiar with, simply find it in the menu, click on it, and typically you're presented with a plain English explanation. This page is linked and I encourage you to use it if you're learning the ropes. The first thing we need to do is to create our own fork of Marlin on our own GitHub account. This is essentially a copy of the firmware, but preserving the links to the original. To do this, we come to the GitHub page for Marlin and click on the fork button. And at this stage, it will look exactly the same, apart from having your username /Marlin instead of Marlin firmware /Marlin. One thing you might notice is that when you click on branch, all of the branches have been forked as well. This is different to when we download a zip, where only the files from the branch we had selected are included in the download. It's important to know the correct terminology here. The original Marlin is now called upstream, and our forked version is now called origin. Typically, to edit the files, however, we want to do so on our local computer. And to do that, we're going to clone the repository using GitHub for Desktop. The first thing you should do is to create a new folder on your computer, and we're only downloading Marlin once, no matter how many printers we're going to set it up for, so it's perfectly acceptable to simply call the folder Marlin. We have two options here. On the GitHub website, with our own fork open, we can come to the green button and then click Open in Desktop. Alternatively, we can come to the main menu, click Add and then Clone Repository, and then paste in the URL. We'll have our local path selected as the folder we previously created. We can now simply click Clone. All of the files will now be downloaded and the folder structure set up automatically on our computer. Towards the end, you'll be asked how you want to use the fork. For most people, you're simply going to click for my own purposes and then continue. You'll notice that if you come to the branches, all of those have been downloaded to your computer, just like when we forked the main repo. So we now have a clone of our fork on our computer, which we're now going to refer to as local. All of the branches have downloaded, and here's a neat trick. Even though there's only one folder on your computer, switching between the branches will alter which files are accessible in the directory. GitHub manages all of this for you. We'll also notice this handy button here that says Open in Visual Studio Code. If you're using a different editor, you can set that in the options. As you might expect, once we click it, the firmware will open, and down in the lower left, we can also change the branch. Previously, the branch was 2, but now I can scroll down and change it to the bug fix version. This will change which files are accessible to edit. And if we switch back to GitHub, we'll notice that the change is reflected here as well. Everything is always kept in sync. Our foundation is set up, so how about we make some changes for our machines? And to do that, we're going to create a new local branch. You can see here, I plan to make an Ender3 branch derived from Bugfix 2.0. To do this, make sure the current branch is set to whatever you want to make the derivative from, and then come up to branch and say new branch. We'll give it a name and tell it we want it to be based on the bug fix, and then click create branch. I can now copy the example Ender3 configuration files and overwrite the generic ones from the bug fix branch of Marlin. Instantly, GitHub has noticed this change. It's telling me I've added a boot screen and a status screen file, and in configuration.h, it's going through and showing me all of the changes that occur to set up Marlin for the Ender3. I've also just remembered to edit platform.io.ini to change the environment from Mega2560 to Melzy. This seems like a good point to save what we've done, so we're going to come down to the lower left where it says summary, fill that out, and then commit to Ender3. This has just saved a version that will be tracked and I can come back to in future if I make an error down the track. So the version on my computer is all sorted, but I'd recommend pushing this change to the origin server. To do that, all we need to do is click Publish Branch. We'll notice up here it gives us updates on the progress, and before too long it's complete and everything is synced. If we check online on GitHub, the change has been registered and should be available on the branches dropdown. So why would we bother pushing to the online server? Let's imagine something happens to our computer and we lose all of our firmware. With GitHub, all we need to do is click the clone button and we'll have everything back, and that includes all of our branches and a complete editing history. Marlin firmware is constantly being updated, generally at least half a dozen small updates per day. So now we've reached the scenario where we want to keep our custom branch updated with all of the latest changes. We're going to do this in stages, with the first being to pull the changes to our local copy of the bugfix branch. To do that, I'm going to switch to my local bugfix 2.0 branch, and then I'm going to come up to the branch menu and say merge into current branch. I'll now scroll down until I find the upstream bugfix 2.0 branch, and it's telling me there's 6 commits, so all I need to do is click merge. So now my local clone of the bugfix branch is up to date, so I want to flow these changes onto its derivative, my Ender3 branch. So I'm going to select my custom branch, again come to branch, merge into current branch, and then select bugfix 2.0. It's important to note here that we're selecting our local branch, not scrolling down and selecting the upstream branch. Again, all we have to do is click merge and we're up to date. If I come to my history tab, I can see a summary of what's just happened. All of the new code that's been added by the Marlin developers has been updated into my own firmware, and if I like, I can now flash that to my printer. Now sometimes there'll be a big enough change in a Marlin update that there might be conflicts with your configuration files. If so, you'll be given a warning before you merge. You'll now be presented with a list of the conflicts, and from here we have 2 options. If we come to the dropdown, we can blindly keep the changes from our custom branch, or we can blindly take the changes from upstream Marlin, but more likely most of the time we're going to want to click this button to open it in our editor. When the file opens, we'll notice we have these colors on the sidebar, and scrolling down will reveal some more color-coded sections. In green we'll have our current custom version, and in blue we'll have the incoming change. And all we need to do is click accept current change or accept incoming change. And that will merge the 2 together, making only one version. A lot of the times these are quite obvious, but if you feel you need to do things manually, you can click accept both changes and then manually edit the lines if you need to resolve the conflict. Here's a possible scenario for this. In our custom branch, we changed parameter A to be 50. We have our incoming change and the name of the parameter has been reversed. Really, we want the new parameter name with our old value, so we click keep both and manually edit it to the correct outcome. When you're done, you can save the file, go back to GitHub and continue the merge. When you've finished locally pulling all the latest changes, make sure to upload these to the origin to keep everything in sync. Now having this easy to update custom branch is all well and good, but the real power comes from creating multiple custom branches to suit our various printers. We'll have our edits over time stored, only one folder on the hard drive, and it will be easy to keep them up to date. It certainly beats the dozens of out-of-date firmware versions that I've been using up until now. Remember that the true power of this is that you can have as many branches as you want, and it gets more useful the more you scale it up. Instead of downloading Marlin each time you get a new 3D printer or you do a different mod, you just make a new branch to suit that particular configuration, and GitHub will keep everything efficiently up to date. Thanks again to my patrons for not only suggesting this video, but helping me create it. I definitely couldn't have done it without them. Have you got any comments on whether you're going to adopt either of these approaches? Please let me know down below in the comments section. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, happy 3D printing. G'day, it's Michael again. If you like the video, then please click like. If you want to see more content like this in future, click subscribe, and make sure you click on the bell to receive every notification. If you really want to support the channel and see exclusive content, become a patron. Visit my Patreon page. See you next time.